This building was built in 1897, and we went through the renovation in 2019. Established in the early 60s. And since then, we've had a couple of locations, but we've been, downtown. We had a building there farther down the road. And in the 90s, early 90s, it burned down. So we built a new infrastructure on Hillcrest Drive, where we were located up until late 2019, when we renovated or decided to move downtown to provide access to more people to the arts. And then we purchased this building. It used to be two separate buildings. This is a picture of what we used to have in the early 40s in this building. And it was a homeware store. And they sold washing machines and dishes and things like that. And you can we kept a lot of that, like the hardwood floors. The ceiling is original. Some of the light fixtures, we repurposed and included them in the renovation. And you can see them throughout the front of the building. My background is actually psychology, is what I have my degree on. And I used to work with children. And art is something that's always been dear to my heart. And so over time, I always wanted to explore painting, and I never had the opportunity to do it. This is our sales gallery, and it's a space where any local artist can display their artwork and have it for sale. It's important for us to support local artists, so anybody's welcome to bring your artwork, and we'll provide them with a space. People are really taking the time to come in, and they're liking what we're doing here. And so especially with the first responders program, we have seen a huge following, especially with teachers. But we have a very, very large group of people that are so thankful that we have this available for them. This space is where we teach ceramics, and we have wheels, and you can throw pottery here. So we like to keep small groups so that the students can have more one-on-one time with the instructor and have more fun. So basically they come in, and when we clean up, we put all the tools out, but this is the wheel, and this would be their pedal, and they can sit here and throw pottery, and the instructor walks them through step by step on the basic skills like centering, and then building and creating different shapes. Since we have almost 15,000 square feet, it hasn't been that difficult to stay safe and keep everyone safe, because we have so many different rooms, and we have two entrances with two exits, right? So people can come in from one end and can go through the building without, brushing up or going through everyone else. And we are constantly disinfecting and constantly, keeping things clean so that everyone is healthy and safe. But given the many areas that we have, and the students stay close together or stay together, and those are, always working together, then we minimize exposure too. We have our annual fundraiser coming up. It's called Batter Good Folk, and we select 9 individuals from the community that hold some sort of leadership position, and they create a piece of art. And then they have their own little micro event to raise funds. And October 2nd will be our live auction dinner. And so these are going to be the centerpieces for our event. There is the Big Fork Festival here in Preble County. And we're trying to marry that, something that's symbolic of Preble County, with Wayne County, which is the Richmond Rose Garden. So we chose that, and we're going to put roses in the little centerpieces and after auction as well. But all these other items are from students and what they're making right now. They continue to struggle at work with the pandemic that's, still around. And then also it's impacting their mental health. It impacts their interactions at home, right? Because everything has changed. And we live in the American culture is so focused on work, and everything else kind of goes around that. And so it was hard for families and communities to be, at home so much at first. But I think that we're seeing that, and part of the reason why there's been such a change in workforce is because they're experiencing what it is like to not work so much and to be able to be home with their children and with their spouses and their family members. This is a show that we had a few weeks ago. It's a one-man show. It is called Legends of Whitewater Gorge. Those are jazz musicians who recorded in Richmond, Indiana, in the Gannett studio. So all of these paintings are Brazilians. And that piano was part of the show. It's a Star piano, and it was built in Richmond, Indiana. And you can see the logo on there still where it says Star in Richmond, Indiana. And so we wanted to bring part of the history and share that with our guests. We had close to 100 guests that night for the opening reception, and then we had music in the gallery and live jazz music. We're working right now on developing a music composition class, and we're going to offer a trumpet class, ukulele, and guitar lessons, and also a poetry class. Mm-hmm. So we're kind of expanding and trying to offer more forms of art to the community. We have classes for children and adults. And so our guests or students vary in age and demographics, which is really nice to have. And then we also are offering free ceramics classes to first responders. The First Responders program is a new developed program that started with my idea while I was going through downtown Eaton. I drove through by the fire station, and coming through the pandemic and what we were experiencing last year and into this year, I wanted to do something nice for the first responders and the essential workers. They have been out in the front lines and working already in a stressful environment, in a very demanding environment, like it is, the ER, or being an EMS, or being a mental health worker. So those jobs are already stressful and demanding, and that was, exponentially made worse by the pandemic. So that's where the thought started, that I wanted to do something to recognize them and to not only thank them for their work, but I wanted to provide a space where they can come in and do art and be creative in a form of self-care. So nurses and social workers, we get a lot of teachers too, and we get personnel from the fire department. And we also get folks from Wayne County, Indiana, Darke County, Montgomery County, Ohio. So we're not just serving Preble County. We are actually expanding and reaching out the surrounding areas. Yeah, but I just love creating. It's a big part of who I am. And if I'm not creating art, I'm creating in the form of developing programs and in the business end of it. But I've worked in the nonprofit sector for several years. And when I found this place and they called me and wanted me to interview for the job, of course I accepted, and I fell in love with the building and especially with the mission. It's difficult to find a job that you believe in what they're doing, especially in the nonprofit sector. And so it was a win-win situation for me because I do believe in the mission, and so I can support it wholeheartedly. And we offer so many varieties of art to so many people that to me it was a huge opportunity. I'm pretty grateful to be here.